Ryland Deo, a striking human with stylish blonde hair and piercing blue eyes, paced nervously in his rented room. His pockets were empty, and his alien landlord Zara Kylo was without a husband. The rent was due, and he had no way to pay. Stranded on Sci-Fi Prime for months, his ship had been impounded, and his funds had dwindled to nothing. Outside his window, the neon-lit alien city pulsed with vibrant life, taunting him with endless opportunities just beyond his reach. A firm knock at the door pulled Ryland from his anxious thoughts. He recognized that authoritative rap, Zara. Gathering himself, he opened the door, ready with his most charming smile. Zara stood in the hallway, her lavender skin glowing softly under the dim lights. Her white hair flowed in shimmering waves down her back, and her sapphire eyes locked onto Ryland with an intense gaze. "Mr. Deo," she said, her icy voice sending a shiver down his spine. Ryland leaned against the doorframe, feigning relaxation. "Zara, you know you can call me Ryland. Please, come in. Let's talk." Zara swept past him, her long skirts brushing against his legs as the door clicked shut behind her. "Ryland," she began, turning to face him, "it's the first of the month. You know what that means." Ryland sighed, running a hand through his hair. I know, the rent. Look, Zara, I'm working on it. I have some leads, some big deals in the making. I just need a little more time." Zara stepped closer, her exotic perfume enveloping him. "Time is a luxury," she said, her fingers grazing the collar of his shirt, sending a thrill through him. "One I'm not certain I can afford to give you." Ryland's pulse quickened. Her touch ignited a spark. "Unless—" A sly smile formed on Zara's lips. "Unless we can reach some sort of arrangement. A dashing rogue, like you, must possess many talents. Perhaps there's something you could do for me in exchange for a little leniency." Ryland swallowed hard, his mind racing with the implications of her words. The heat in her gaze and the suggestive lilt in her voice felt like an invitation, a tempting offer. Part of him yearned to accept, to pull her closer and lose himself in her alien allure. But another part, the one that clung to his sense of honor, held him back. Gently, he took Zara's hand, lifting it from his chest. "Zara," he said softly, "you have no idea how much I appreciate the offer. And believe me, there's nothing I'd like more than to express my gratitude, but I can't, not like this. You deserve better than some deadbeat spacer trying to charm his way out of debt. I respect you too much to take advantage of your kindness." Zara blinked, surprise flickering across her features. She stepped back, studying Ryland with a new intensity. "You're a rare breed, Ryland. Not many men would turn down such an offer." Ryland shrugged, a rueful smile on his lips. "What can I say? I'm old-fashioned like that." A thoughtful look crossed Zara's face. "1 week," she said finally. "I'll give you 1 more week to come up with the rent. But after that—" Ryland exhaled, relief and gratitude washing over him. "Thank you, Zara. I won't let you down." As Zara left, Ryland let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. He had a reprieve, but the clock was ticking. He needed to find a way to make some quick cash, and fast. Over the next few days, Ryland hit the streets of Sci-Fi Prime, chasing down every lead, every rumor work. He haggled with merchants, charmed his way into high-stakes card games, and even took on a few risky courier jobs. Slowly but surely, the money began to trickle in. All the while, Zara seemed to be everywhere. In the hallways of the boarding house, in the markets where Ryland sought his fortune, even in his dreams. Her presence was constant, a tantalizing reminder of the simmering desire between them. She found excuses to visit his room, lingering in his doorway. Her touches became more frequent, more bold. A hand on his arm, a brush of her fingers against his cheek. Her words were laced with double meanings, playful suggestions that left Ryland's head spinning. "You know, Ryland," she purred one evening, leaning in close, "if you ever need help relaxing after a long day, my door is always open." Ryland's heart raced, his body responding to her proximity. "I'll keep that in mind," he managed, his voice rough. Zara smiled, a wicked gleam in her eye. "See that you do." With a wink, she was gone, leaving Ryland aching and frustrated. But he held fast to his resolve, channeling his pent-up energy into his work, determined to prove himself. As the week drew to a close, he found himself standing in Zara's office, a stack of credits in his hand. "Your rent, my lady," he said with a flourish, laying the money on her desk. "Paid in full." Zara counted the credits, a smile playing at her lips. "Well done, Ryland. I must say I'm impressed." Ryland grinned, pride swelling in his chest. "Told you I'd come through." Zara rose from her chair, circling the desk to stand before him. "Indeed you did." Her hand trailed up his chest, her touch searing through his shirt. "And now that our business is concluded, perhaps we can discuss other matters." Ryland's breath caught, his pulse pounding in his ears. "Other matters?" Zara leaned in, her lips a hair's breadth from his. "I think you know exactly what I mean." Then she was kissing him, her mouth hot and hungry against his. Ryland groaned, his arms coming around her, pulling her close. The kiss deepened, their tongues tangling, their bodies molding together. They stumbled back into Zara's private quarters, hands grasping, clothes falling away. They fell onto her bed, a tangle of limbs, gasps, and sighs. Ryland explored the curves and hollows of her body, marveling at the softness of her skin, the alien beauty of her form. Zara arched beneath him, her nails raking his back, urging him on. They moved together, their passion cresting and breaking, leaving them spent and sated in each other's arms. Ryland held Zara close, tracing the contours of her lavender skin, savoring the warmth radiating from her body. "Stay with me," Zara murmured, her head nestled against his chest. Ryland smiled, pressing a tender kiss to her forehead. "There's nothing I'd like more." For now, at least, the weight of their struggles melted away. But the neon city outside still pulsed with danger and opportunity, and Ryland knew their story was far from over. Fade in. EXT, desolate planet night. A dark, windswept landscape. Jagged rock formations stretch into the distance beneath a swirling violet sky. In the midst of the wasteland stands a lone figure, Saren, clad in a tattered exosuit, its visor cracked and flickering with static. "Saren, VO, I was never meant to survive this long." Lightning flashes, illuminating the wreckage of a once mighty starship half buried in the sand. Sparks sputter from exposed wiring. A faint, pulsing distress beacon blinks weakly in the wreckage. Saren stumbles forward, gripping his side, pain evident in his movements. He kneels beside the beacon, adjusting its frequency. "Saren, into transmitter. This is Saren Varis, last survivor of the Echelon. If anyone is receiving this." The beacon crackles. Static. Then, Saren's breath catches. Hope and caution were within him. "Saren, into transmitter. Identity confirmed. Saren Varis. Mission code Theta 9. Requesting immediate extraction." A long pause. Then, unknown voice OS. Distorted. "Saren Varis is dead." Saren freezes. His blood turns to ice. "Saren, into transmitter. Negative. I'm standing right here." Unknown voice OS. Then who sent the original distress call? Silence. Saren glances at the wreckage, the realization creeping in. The beacon had been transmitting long before he activated it. The wind howls. Shadows shift. Something moves in the darkness. Saren, whispering, "I'm not alone." A sudden burst of static screeches through the transmitter. Saren jerks back, scanning the shadows. And then, a pair of glowing eyes flicker to life in the darkness. Fade to black. They work side by side, exchanging stories and memories as they completed their tasks. Zoran spoke of his life with Zara, a love so profound that it left Ryland speechless. In return, Ryland shared his own journey, the winding path that had led him to Asha, to a love just as deep and transformative. They laughed, cried, and bonded over their shared joys and sorrows. What began as an alliance grew into something stronger, friendship, family. When Asha went into labor, it was Zoran who stood beside Ryland, steadying him as he paced the halls. His gruff words of encouragement grounded Ryland, guiding him through his panic and fear. "Breathe," Zoran reminded him. "She's strong." So are you. And then at last their son was born, a perfect, squalling bundle of lavender and pink. As Ryland held Asha close, exhausted but radiant, Zoran wept openly, cradling his grandson for the first time. "He's beautiful," Zoran whispered, his voice thick with awe and love. Ryland could only nod, tears streaming down his face. "He is," he agreed, his heart swelling to the point of bursting. "Our little miracle." They named him Zarin, a blend of their names, a symbol of the unity and love that had brought him into the world. As they settled into their new life, Ryland found himself marveling at the path that had led him here. He thought of Zara, the light and love she had brought into his life, the way she had changed him, saved him. He thought of Asha, her strength, her courage, her unwavering faith in him and their future. And he thought of Zoran, the unexpected bond they had forged, the family they had become. It was more than he had ever dreamed of, more than he had ever believed possible. Yet it was real. It was his. A life filled with love, purpose, and a joy so radiant it could illuminate even the darkest corners of the universe. As Asha nursed their son and Zoran hummed an off-key lullaby, weaving tall tales of adventure, Ryland felt at home. A certainty settled deep in his bones. No matter what the future held, no matter the trials or triumphs ahead, they would face it together. A family, bound not just by blood, but by love, by choice, by the unbreakable ties of the heart. Gathering Asha and Zarin close, Ryland met Zoran's misty gaze over their heads. This was it, the place he had longed for, searched for, without even knowing. Now that he'd found it, he would never let it go. He was home, in every way that mattered, exactly where he was meant to be.